Hello, everybody. Welcome to another video. Welcome to this fucking channel. People have been calling this a podcast, and that's fine. I never thought of it as such. I just thought of it as kind of like a video journal, vlog, slice of life kind of thing. But if podcast is a term you're comfortable with, hey, who am I to argue? Anyway, so I am out of the psychiatric hospital. I've been given parole for good behavior. Yeah, so I've been released back in society. So lock up your loved ones. No, it's not like that at all. Um, it's a very, very comfortable. Hello, Gizmo. It's a very, very comfortable facility with very qualified staff, a very competent team of mental health care providers. The only thing is, I had limited. Well, I won't get into the details, but some medical aid issues, red tape, bureaucracy, that sort of thing. I normally stay a lot longer. This time I was only there for 4 days before the medical aid said you're out. And that's fine. Was I ready to be discharged? I would say no. In the time there, I didn't get to undergo as much treatment as I would have liked, and I think the big thing is um, there's a major change or adjustment in my medication, and part of the reason for me being there in the hospital for the first in the first place was to monitor how I respond and react to the medication. If you've ever been on psych meds or on any meds for that matter, there is a bit of like uncertainty and a bit of apprehension as to what the side effects might be. You hope that there are none, but a lot of the time you find yourself facing some unpleasant side effects. Sometimes to the extent that you do not comply anymore with the treatment regime. But in any case, so I didn't want to get out that early. I didn't fight it. There's no point. And it is what it is. Life on life's terms. But there was this great sense of trepidation. I was just waiting for the axe to fall, get out of there, face life on life's terms, face reality, face my responsibilities, and that's scary. I was very fucking scared. And then I did something that I should have done a long time ago in the early stages of my recovery already, and that was to just surrender this these things that I'm afraid of, including myself and my thoughts, to my higher power. You know, because control, for me at least, it's an illusion. People think they're in control, but in reality, we're just not in control. Well, maybe I should be speaking from my own perspective. There are probably people who do have control, but I don't have control over certain people, places, and things, right? So the only thing that I can really do is surrender those things to my higher power, and at least have the belief. That is not to say I shouldn't take action, if there are things that are actionable. um, but at least there is the belief that, okay, if I take these actions, things will turn out okay, rather than if I take any sort of action, I will just fuck things even further, or this is too big for me, I'm not going to take any action at all. you know so that's one of the realizations I came to. And another realization, as I was sitting there waiting to see the psychiatrist to debrief me and then discharge me, was that I can stay in there for a year. And that sounds lovely, but in the end, I can't run away from life on life's terms. I can't run away from my thoughts, my feelings, my responsibilities, and ultimately from myself. I can only run away for so fucking long. And then I have to face those things. So yeah, surrender. was what got me through that initial shock, that helped me process, that helped me ground myself. And here I am, and things are just fine, you know. Um, for all my catastrophizing, things are okay, and things are gonna be okay. I try to steer clear from giving any sort of advice really on this. Well, okay, I'm gonna call the podcast this one time, but then never again. Okay. I steer clear from giving advice because I'm not a professional. I'm not a medical health practitioner or expert in any any way, sense, or form. All I can say is from my own experience that, you know, surrender sometimes surrender is not the same thing as defeat or resignation. Surrender is just giving all that you've got sitting with and giving it to. And when I say a higher power, it doesn't necessarily have to mean God. In my case, it does mean God, but it can be, your support group or your mental health team. That could be a higher power. Again, I'm not here to give advice. I'm just here to give you a little bit of insight into my life, my own struggles. I'm very excited about the new music that we've been making, Chantel and I, with Felix Day. It is going to fucking slap. That is all I can say. It's going to be heavy. We keep getting darker and heavier with every album, and I love it. I feel like that's the natural progression. Not because our lives are getting worse, but because we're getting more insight into this stuff. And the stuff sometimes just happens to be fucking dark. So yeah, thanks for watching. I gotta get out of here. I have some things to do. And please look after yourselves. Things are gonna be okay. Things were at one point okay in your life, chances are they're going to be okay again. But you're not alone. You're not alone. You're going to be okay.